Okay, so I just finished playing my first round game for the Build Phase Dice Throwing Holiday Blitz, and what happened was I had the camera all set up, I hit record, and then we had to rearrange our stuff. And I didn't realize I had to hit record again until I played my first turn. So I won the dice roll, I went first. On my first turn, I played Ooh Shiny, and I got enough synth that I could upgrade my Spanner Strike and get a fully upgraded Shockbot on turn 1, and then I nat rolled into a Eureka and came at him for 10 damage on turn 1, which was massive. And then pretty soon into my opponent's turn 2, the recording picks up. So, oops, but here's the majority of the game. And this is Ben from the future, where I have to regrettably report that the audio for this game was somehow lost to time. Somehow, user error. I used a feed where I captured the video but not the audio when I recorded this, which was a mistake on my part. So I'm going to jump in, I'm going to watch this game, maybe give a little bit of insight into what I was thinking as I made my plays, and comment on my opponent's choices here. So at the start of this, so right there he activated Profiteer, and I could have helping handed that, but instead I waited and let him roll the d6. My opponent's on Tactician. I know you can't see that on the screen right now, but he got the 6 result off the Profiteer activation, which would have given him a whole nother offensive roll phase. I did not want to let that happen, so while I was willing to let him activate Profiteer, I committed the helping hand to the prevention of him getting a whole extra turn. At this point, I felt extremely good. You know what? I think I might have lied in my intro. I think this might have came in a little bit later into the game. So the weird looking gold metal thing that's on my board is a heart-shaped enamel pin. Okay, throwing out Nana Assault. Oh man, okay. I don't want to lose the thread here. That Jolt upgrade was a massive misplay. Normally when I play Artificer, I don't upgrade the small straight power ever. But at this moment in time, I had cracked him good a couple of times. I felt pretty confident about my overall state in the game, and I felt like I had surplus CP. So I was like, I'll upgrade Jolt, why not? This was not a good call. Ultimately, the CP that was spent on Jolt and that I didn't get because I didn't sell Jolt ended up costing me pretty bad later in the game. The heart-shaped pin that's on Artificer is representative of my Healbot. When I went to build the Healbot, I could not find the token, but when I went to clean up later that night, I found it with absolutely no difficulty. So I'm curious if at some point in this video I'm going to see my Healbot token, even though I couldn't find it in the moment in real time. All Saber roll here for my opponent. Just to explain what's happening here, my opponent did not have a microphone on his PC nor a stand for his cell phone. So the ultimate decision was using his cell phone video and just holding it. So it does make it a little bit hard to follow some of what's going on at times because the camera moves around a great deal. As you can see here though, his endurance total is 29. Mine is sitting very comfortably at, I believe, 43, although it's a little hard to read the screen at this moment in time. And I felt pretty good at this moment. Numerous times in this video, you'll see me realize my CP dial is off the camera and tug it back down. Is that a Profiteer roll there? Looks like he's not going to keep it. I think he gets Profiteer again here. I probably shouldn't predict the game, though. It's frustrating because you can see the green bars go up around each of our video feeds as we're talking, but again, this audio is lost to time. So he's inflicting. I think he got a straight there. Yeah, he's gaining tactical advantage and inflicting constrict. Yeah, that looks like a straight. Okay. I believe he spent those tokens. So before he got tactical advantage off of the straight, he spent the tokens to inflict a targeted on me, then allowed his roll to resolve with the constrict and the targeted for exploit. This game actually played in kind of a peculiar way for me, where I felt like I couldn't stop putting nanites on him. Of course, he always rolled sixes and cleared them off pretty much every time, but it was crazy the amount of nanites. I do not typically play Artificer chasing nanites. Most games I don't even build the nanobot. So he hit me pretty good there. Looks like I'm at 33. $33 to $29, I think. Okay, so drawing, gaining my CP. I'm having a debate here about upgrading my heal bot, because I'm like, the sooner I do that, the sooner I can start. I'm ahead. Let's just go. So we got a bunch of wrenches. I'm pretty sure I'm going for the Spanner Strike. Now here I made a mistake. I forgot about Constrict. Had I remembered, I would not have taken that third reroll because I actually wanted the CP that I had there. But, I mean, I took the third reroll, so I had to pay for it. Even though I did the timing wrong, it would have been unfair to my opponent. I spent a synth to be able to roll 3 dice to add to my Spanner Strike, which is one of the favorite things that I do with Artificer. So generally when I play him, I try to get Shockbot out and upgraded as fast as possible, and then just roll Spanner Strike. If I can hit you with the full toolbox, give me those 5 wrenches all day long. I'll spend a synth to roll 3 dice to add more damage, gain more synth, and then I activate the Shockbot, and that's more or less how I play Artificer. Oh, I think this might be the turn. Wait, is that only 4? Oh, that must be his defense roll. For a second there, I was like, wait. He's missing a dice. So, again, just smacking him around for 10 damage pretty much every turn. And even on the turns where I don't successfully land 10 damage due to him using something like Protect or whatever, I'm attacking. I'm creating incoming damage of 10 or more almost every turn of this game. So occasionally he has to put down the phone to do something with 2 hands, which is why it goes black from time to time. This is like the most punk rock DIY game recording ever. So I see 2, 3, 4. I missed the rest of it. Oh, so it looks like he's going to keep the 2, 3, 4 and throw the rest. Still not getting to the straight there. Doing a little bit of consideration. Kept the 6, huh? Yeah, so this is the turn. He's about to empty his CP vault on me. Which, as soon as I saw him keep that 6, the hair on the back of my neck started to rise. So there's all the cards that he's going to play. And that is going to get him to the ultimate. As you can see on my CP dial, I have 0. So there is nothing I can do here. Can't activate my heal bot because you can't respond to an ultimate. So as I said in my previous video on this topic, put down your hand, pick up your dial, and say how much. Which that is actually a Manny quote. That's not an original. Gotta credit the source for that phrasing. Oh, so here he's spending off the rest of his tactical advantages because part of the Tactician's ultimate is that in addition to increasing the tac advantage stack limit, so he can now hold more of them, it also maxes him out. So however much he has, it doesn't matter. He goes up to full. So spending those prior to the ultimate resolving is, of course, the correct play. Frustrating to me to watch him. Oh, I'm going to just draw these extra cards. Then I'm going to get fully replenished. And, oh, yeah, 14 damage at your face. So this went from me in a fairly comfortable lead for the first few turns of the game to now I'm behind. And this is when I started to realize that Jolt play was just stupid. That upgrade is not typically... showing my hand to the camera, so dumb. Still haven't totally gotten used to... Almost forgot to get my synth there again. Still haven't totally gotten used to this world of playing online and making sure that I'm not flashing my hand to the camera all the time. Oh, so we're talking about nanites here. He forgot to roll nanites at the start of the last turn, but my defense inflicted one. So he needed to roll for that one. Of course, got another 6 and removed it. I think every nanite I inflict, with the exception of like one, he removes right away. Is that a Eureka? Oh, no, there's a 6 there. So here I did consider chasing schematics. And I think that may ultimately be the player. Now, there is an argument for holding on to the gears and trying to chase Eureka instead. So that time... Did I not pay the CP there? I cleared the constrict. Oh, I must have just decided not to take a third reroll. So we're activating Jolt. So I did get a little bit of use out of that upgrade. But 7 damage plus the shock bot, that's still only 10. It did inflict a nanite, but again, I'm not the kind of player who chases nanites. No shade. So this is one of many times where he just blunts my attacks. So I deal with the constrict. He inflicts another one right away, which is annoying. Now, constrict is not typically that great of a status effect, but when it's universal, it becomes really annoying. So here he's gaining tactical advantage on the defense as well as blunting my overall attack. So I attack in for something like 10, and he takes, what, 5, I think is what it comes down to. I guess we'll see when this when we cut back from black. 5, yeah. So ultimately he ended up taking 5, even though I attacked him for 10. And I was certainly feeling some pressure there. So I got rid of his stupid targeted. Man, that targeted was annoying too. That was another thing that really helped. You know, had he not gotten targeted on me so often, I would have been in a much more comfortable position. But ult pops off for 12, plus it turns into 14. I mean, that completely closed the gap that I had created with multiple 10-plus point attacks across the opening turns. He's also showing his cards to the camera. So the thing is, in these types of online settings, even if you flash your hand to the camera, you don't always get penalized for it. Because I was in this game, but in the moment where that happened, I didn't see it happen. I must have been looking at my cards or down at my board or something. I also try to keep a copy of my opponent's board on my desk in front of me, and as they upgrade, I play the upgrade so I can track what the powers are. So he's going to gain some more tactical advantage here. The maximum he possibly could. So three more attack advantage. And I think now we're going to go into ORP. Yeah. Sure looks like a profiteer roll to me. I mean, you could hold 3, 4, 5 and chase a straight. Oh, looks like that's what he's doing. It's funny because I feel like I'm both doing commentary and kind of like calling the game, but also trying to remember it. So some of my predictions, I think you should do this. Some of that might be accurate and some of it might end up being wrong. So I don't always. So looking at a game from outside, choosing lines is always different than when you're in it. I'm definitely a little bit better at sitting in my chair watching other people play and going, oh, they should have done this, oh, they should have done that. Whereas when I'm there in the trenches and the pressure's on, my comfortable life lead has been chipped away. My ability to see all the lines starts to get a little bit fuzzier. So that was a Profiteer activation. I couldn't do anything about it. By rolling a 2, that means there's 5 incoming damage as well as gaining more tactical advantage. At some point, he spent tactical advantage to gain a protect. I don't remember exactly when it happened. He did announce it verbally, but given the camera, it's a little bit hard to track exactly when it was. I think it was the same turn where he ulted. I played Conductivity there, where I roll a d6, and that allowed me to gain Synth, I believe, on that result. Got to be better about showing my hand to the camera. So I'm under some pressure here. I don't want to sell these cards, but I really need to get the upgrade scrap collector in play. That rotted in my hand for turn after turn because of the jolt play on turn 2. Had I gotten scrap collector down a little bit sooner and been able to start building my synth advantage up a little bit faster. Here we go. Full toolbox. I don't need to re-roll that. So once you have all the wrenches, that's 5. Now, I did take a little bit of a risk here spending my only synth to roll 3 dice, hoping I would get another synth off of it, which that risk paid off. So then I was able to spend that synth to add another 3 damage. So all together, I think this came in for 12. So on his defense, he takes 1 off there. And then I think he spends the protect here, maybe. Oh yeah, clear the constrict because I didn't use all my rerolls. Sometimes these, yeah, there goes the protect. Okay. I knew he had that sitting there. And when you have 12 damage coming at you, that seems pretty wise to cut that in half. So out of my 12, between his defense roll and the protect, I think he ends up taking 5. Yeah, only 5. That was annoying. That was really annoying. Like, come on, man. I think this is me reminding him to roll for nanites. I don't remember how many he had at this point. Looks like just the one. So I think this is the only time in the whole game where he does a nanite roll and does not clear one. Now, if you're in the Tactician's shoes, you are a little bit behind on health, but you've got to know that you have more ways to soak damage and protect against damage than the Artificer. So this has got to feel like a pretty comfortable position, even though you're slightly behind. Like, I need to be way further ahead at this juncture in the game, and I knew it. 3, 3, 6, 6, 5. Man, what do you do with that? I think if it was me, I might even throw it all back. That's not... I don't like that number layout to try to chase a straight. Saber Strike is one of the weakest things he can do. Oh, this was an interesting play. He used one more time before using his 2 normal rerolls, which I've never seen somebody do that. I always see people use their rerolls, then commit cards. So that's an interesting strategy point. I mean, if you're worried about the opponent having dice manipulation, which he shouldn't be because you can see on screen that I have 0 CP, but if you're worried about the opponent having dice manipulation, committing a card to give yourself a reroll and not using your natural rerolls could put that opponent in a position where it's like, do I want to spend this card? Ultimately, he did not end up presenting dice with additional rerolls left. And I think we ended up with a strategic approach here. Looks like that's what's showing. I'm not going to... Yeah, there's the constrict. So the strategic approach is going to give us 7 incoming damage plus a constrict. I don't think he had any modifiers to make it bigger. And my defense rolls in this game were pretty bad. I inflict another nanite on my opponent, but again, I don't care about the stupid nanites. I never chase nanites, and I didn't get any synth off that defense roll, which is what I really, really needed, was the synth. So the end is near. You can kind of feel it, you know? Here I get to use the upgraded scrap collector, I think for the first time in the whole game. I think I only get... not enough. I needed that down 2 turns sooner, which I could have done had I not made the misplay of playing Jolt. I just keep kicking myself for that. And I'm starting to feel a little bit better here. Like, yeah, I'm in bad shape on the health dial, but I've got a decent stack of synth. I'm kind of thinking like, well, maybe I can shell up and just get some damage across. I think this is the turn where, yeah, I'm clearly... by keeping 2 wrenches and a lightning bolt, I'm clearly chasing schematics here, which ultimately is what I end up activating. I was hoping to draw into some answers. The health is nice, and the synth was what was really important. I was like, I really need this synth. I need to get this heal bot upgraded. Like, there's stuff I need to do. Like, show my opponent all the cards in my hand. So I sell that card so I can play Transference, and I'm going to steal your stupid Protect. So now I'm feeling real good. I got all the synth in the world. I got a Protect. Got out from underneath that stupid Constrict. Like, let's upgrade my heal bot. Okay. I'm feeling very comfortable. Not perfect, but he's got 11 health. I've got 6. I'm in this game. And then... oh, I'm reminding him to roll twice for nanites there. Oh, I'm wrong. Okay, so there were 2 turns where he didn't clear any nanites. So much like Bane grabbing a hold of Batman way back in Nightfall 11... we see some cards being sold off here. And then we see what status effects, which not only annihilates my Protect, but it annihilates my stack of synth, which... so everything I had defensively is just gone. It's just gone. And now I'm super vulnerable. There's almost every ability on the Tactician's board can now produce lethal damage. And Artificer is not known for his defense. All right, ultimately closes in on what I believe ends up being a Profiteer activation. Or maybe it was... Yeah, so it wasn't Profiteer. Sorry, that was a small straight activation. So I inflict a nanite. He's coming at me for 6, but I get lucky in that I generate synth on my defense roll and then spend that synth to activate my heal bot, and I get the good result, so I cut his damage in half. So even though I didn't get to use the Protect token, I still ultimately got the same effect as Protect. Thank goodness he came at me for 6, otherwise the heal bot wouldn't have been able to activate at all, and I would have been in even worse shape. Oh, he was so there was a rules question there where he wanted to use try again to force me to re-roll one of my defense dice. So we backed up to that, but we backed up and then he told me the card he wanted to play. I'm like, whoa, that can only target teammates, and I'm not your teammate, homeboy. This moment in time, I think he's got a full stack of nanites on him. And this is where I start to think about, man, if the game, like sometimes you just have to do what the dice wants you to do, right? And if what the game is going to do is just rain nanites down on my opponent, it's a little rigid. It's a little silly in my thinking to, got a conductivity play there, I think. Yeah. It's a little silly to not take what the game gives you. I thought I played conductivity earlier. I did not have my settings set up to not allow anybody else to join, and I did not have my settings set up to not show non-video participants, so a little bit of a hiccup there. Normally, I have the presence of mind to uncheck the non-video participant box before I start playing a game, but just slipped my mind. Look at all that beautiful synth. Let's spend it on a robot that I can't activate until the upkeep of my next turn. And pray I get a next turn. With the full 3 nanites, that is 5 damage, which is nearly half my opponent's health. Here's another defense roll where he just soaks damage. I activate a Eureka. I come in for 10, and I think he cuts it down. So he's at 4. He was at 11. Yeah, so my 10 got cut down to 6. It's like, are you kidding me, man? How many times? 3 nanites. Do any get removed? I don't remember this time. Yeah, so he takes 1 off. So out of all the turns of the game, he had a nanite almost every single turn, and there were only 2 turns across the whole game where there was not a nanite removed. I probably should have built that nanobot sooner, but again, I was under so much pressure with the synth economy that I couldn't do the things I wanted to do, and I lacked the flexibility to shift over to the nanobot plan. You know, as we get deeper in this game, I think I built my heal bot on turn 1 after my attacks. So here we have just a straight up Saber Strike for 6, which is lethal damage. I think I'm at 2 at this point. And I roll my defense, which was a complete whiff, did absolutely nothing. No nanites, no. So then we go heal bot. I take 3 off with the first roll. And with the second roll, unfortunately, I only take 1 off, which means the total incoming damage is 2. I have exactly 2 health, and that is game over, folks. So good game to my opponent. We had a really good time playing through it, even though this recording is a little bit spotty and unconventional. Overall, I'm glad that we were able to get this game down on tape. The Tactician does not get enough time to shine and really look good. So as I clean this up, are we going to see the heal bot? This is like the mini game within the game. Because I put all that stuff on the pile, and then when I go to put that pile in the bin later, the heal bot was there. So I don't know where it was. Is it under my board? It was under the board. There it is. There it was. Okay, well, till next time, go win some games.